Red Dead Online just got a new zombie update for the whole family to enjoy. Not just zombies though, also robots. They might seem adorable, but they make the Terminator look like an iPhone 4. They can literally tank 22 rounds from a Buffalo sniper rifle to the head. Fortunately, the robots' big design flaw is they just abruptly stop chasing you and it becomes a war of attrition. Can you physically carry enough ammunition to eliminate all the robots? Either way, I'm just happy they realised that what we want most in our Western zombie update is near invulnerable robots who stand perfectly still. Red Dead 2 is one of my favourite games of all time, and this update definitely is an update. It is also extremely difficult, even on standard. I once had to break up with a deaf blind girl, which was easy compared to these missions, and it took me 6 months to learn Braille. I log in ready to seize the day. It's been a minute since I played online. I realise my character looks like the kind of guy who would run and operate a lighthouse proficiently, but would also mercilessly beat his family at that same lighthouse. Still, at least you know the ships are being guided into the port safely. I ride over to Valentine so that I can get a telegram, which is how you access the update. I've never accessed a Red Dead Online mission this sneaky way before, but why not introduce a brand new hidden obscure route to play an update 7 years after the game is released to keep players guessing? The strange tale of the plague storyline begins. We ride over to Armadillo and the setting is spooky. I spot a woman standing by her little wagon and decide to see why she's so lonely. She proceeds to turn around and execute me in the street. I wasn't expecting to share a chilled glass of moonshine together, but it appears the locals are agitated. I respawn and the sky is redder than the flags I seem to miss whenever I order street food. All of a sudden, zombies begin collapsing on my position. The moment we've all been waiting for. Undead Nightmare 2. If you look extremely closely, you can see these zombies are just regular NPCs with machetes, but they seem to have added a Snapchat filter to make them slightly blue. I heard in the next update they're adding werewolves to Red Dead Online. It's a truly terrifying experience right up until you realise there is an invisible collision they can't walk past. It's not like the invisible wall is miles away from Armadillo, you can see the town right there. If you just leisurely walk down the road, they can physically bring you no harm. I proceed to shoot all of the undead. In Rockstar's defense, this weird invisible collision glitch is a highly unlikely scenario for most players to encounter. I mean, who could have possibly guessed people would run away from a giant horde of zombies chasing them? With the undead taken care of, I head into Armadillo to see who's responsible for all this tomfoolery. Of course, it's the Catholic priests. This truly is the worst thing a Catholic priest has ever done. Well, maybe not, but it's right up there. It appears this town hasn't been taken over by zombies, but rather they're coexisting quite peacefully with the human locals and all working together to kill me. Their friendship is inspiring. I'm not exactly sure what the problem is. Armadillo is in the middle of the desert, and if raising the dead is how they have to stop the aging population crisis, then I support that. The economic equilibrium of a small western settlement relies on population growth, and I don't see any children here. Thank Mother Mary. I then begin to realise this is a hard mission. I'm never going to pretend to be a skilled gamer, but I do morally disagree with the invasion of Armadillo. I also begin getting my cheeks clapped like I was a prisoner in jail whose worst crime they committed was tax evasion. The last thing I would ever want to be is that idiom of a workman blaming his tools, but I blame my tools and head to the gun store to spice up my loadout. On my way, I spot 2 players chilling in the woods. It looks like they're transporting some exotic cargo on a wagon as they attempt to flourish in this harsh world. I decide to escort these 2 ladies as it's not safe in these dark woods. Mostly because of me. I head to Blackwater to find the best weaponry money can buy. I have a look around and then realise Blackwater doesn't even have a gun store. What kind of Wild West city doesn't sell firearms? Australia abolished gun laws in 1996, and you know who doesn't own an M4 now? Me. When I hate someone, I can't just shoot them, I have to write nasty things about them in my journal. It makes me physically sick to think they've used the good word of water when branding this dump of a town. I proceed to implement a peaceful protest demonstrating that guns don't kill people, people kill people with guns, not purchased in black. I will no longer use the town's full name as it's disrespectful to the free-flowing juice of the gods. I leave Black, observe a cat that looks more realistic than my actual cat Fat Tony, mourn a horse that's tragically drowned in 1 foot of water. They say a horse's tail will wag for up to 16 days after it dies. And then ride for Rhodes so I can buy myself a sniper rifle and continue my journey. On the way, I come across a dodgy Malacca destroying another player's campsite with explosives. During his bombing run, he accidentally blows himself up, which is embarrassing, but now at least he'll meet 72 virgins in the afterlife. Hopefully it's 72 baddies, not just my friends and me. I sit down on a chair, God knows I've earned a break. I then have explosives thrown at me and am violently tossed to the ground. I begin taking fire from point blank range, but somehow this player can't seem to connect his shots. I'm sitting down resting still in a wooden chair. I stand up, execute my attacker Wild Cheetah, and head to Rhodes. Wild Cheetah approaches me in Rhodes, so I'm sure to hit the big fella with a "what's that smell" emote so he knows I'm not a fan of his aroma. The gun shop guy welcomes me like a son, only to tell me it costs $400 for a sniper rifle, and apparently I'm the criminal. We begin raising the funds. I sell all my stuff to the fence lad who's arguably going bald, but it looks fine, not a big deal, every guy goes bald. It's genetic, it's not the man's fault, it's hereditary, wearing hats inside is normal. It really didn't have the impact I was hoping for, and so I decided to do a few bounties to make up the shortfall. Bounties are a safe, great, fun, legal way to tie cute guys up in rope. I then make a horrific discovery. The reason I look like I sit in a lighthouse puffing a glass pipe all day is because I'm not wearing the Modest Pelican goggles. No wonder all these female players I've been running into haven't direct messaged me nudes on Xbox Live Chat yet. With auto restored, I realize the real way people get rich fast is gambling. I've never been good at poker. Some people see 310 as an instant fold, but I see it as a promising investment opportunity. My girl once said she'd leave me if I kept gambling, but I could tell she was bluffing. She really committed to the bluff. I haven't seen or heard from her in like 14 months. My pair of 10s loses out to a pair of kings, which is a real bros before hoes way to go out. I take the gambling loss on the chin like a champ. We get back to bounty hunting, and quite frankly some of the targets confuse me. Take old Addison Wise, also known as the jailbreaker. I ride up and kill a fair few law enforcement officers and free the big guy from his mobile jail cell. Now I know how Abraham Lincoln felt in 1865. I then capture him again and take him to the sheriff's office so he's captured once again. I'm like Abraham Lincoln if he had a Confederate flag bumper sticker on the back of his Mustang. It kind of seems like they had this bounty already captured, but the death of those hard-working government officials is cushioned by the $9 I make. It actually cost me $11 to fast travel here from Rhodes, so we're currently hemorrhaging debt. I ride around the map, capturing more people than a narco threatened with extradition. Anything that earns me $1 I'm happy to do, as I rampage around, bolstering my bank balance. Seriously, I'd give a handy right now. If they paid me, even better. Finally, I'm able to purchase myself a sniper rifle and get back to the greatest zombie update the world has ever seen. I use all my rare gold bar currency to completely pimp out my rolling block sniper rifle. Was it a good use of money? No, but neither is my gym membership, but I never cancel it because I'm a big guy. It's time to complete Strange Tales of the West Volume 1. The fact this implies there will be a Volume 2 gives me literal chills. This time, instead of riding into Armadillo, I pick a sniper perch and begin dropping the undead and the locals who are best friends forever. Two races living peacefully together doesn't sit right with me. That doesn't sound right, but I've always hated black people, as in the residents from the city formerly known as Blackwater and surrounding settlements. Get a gun store, idiots. I move my way through town, sniping everyone who gets in my way. The key benefit of a sniper rifle is that you can attack from range, so imagine my surprise when I'm bitten by one of the undead. I mean slashed with a machete by a lady who has an iron deficiency. I do end up killing everyone and complete my first mission. Little did I know this was by far the easiest of the 4 parts of this new update. To play the second mission, I have to wait 7 minutes, which is the perfect amount of time to go and hunt a 2-star American pronghorn doe and make love to my girlfriend Anna in real life. I return to my game exhausted and still have 5 minutes to spare, so I just stare at my screen appreciating this fun game mechanic. Nothing could prepare me for what I was about to experience. I ride down the daunting pathway towards the manor with my new sniper rifle and cowboy boots full of dreams. I search the manor, combat ready, and then I spot my first opponent, the aforementioned near-invincible robots. Now again, I can't stress how much I do not consider myself that good at gaming. That being said, here's a clip from another mission I did. You might notice that I dismounted my horse and I'm running around in circles as no less than 7 ranchers fail to take me down with their rifles at point blank range. Now compare that to motherfucking Optimus Prime, who shrugs off rifle rounds and also apparently ran track state in college. I dig deep and pull out a strategy I'm not proud of, but genuinely think is necessary to complete the objective. I run slightly outside of the manor grounds and the robot hits an invisible collision. I'm actually still well within the grounds. The mission tests my ammo reserves as I fire round after round into the robots. I abuse the invisible walls and just keep shooting them over and over and over and over again. Was this fun? It must be, because Rockstar did it, so in my own Grand Theft Auto 5M server called Hydrate, we've upped everyone's health by 100,000% for a better gameplay experience. I've also been getting into map development for Hydrate and creating new islands. It's my favorite new hobby. This island still needs a lot of detail added. I'm slowly filling in the town. At the docks, I've made shipment from Modern Warfare 2. This island is still very much a work in progress, but it's so fun. If you want to play Hydrate, it's in the description. The robots have some other cool tricks up their sleeve. For example, when you kill them, they're like, nah blood, psych, I'm actually not dead, and they get back up to fight again. This offers players the satisfying gameplay loop of shooting a robot that's standing still 50 times in the head, and then shooting them 50 times in the head again. The fun doesn't stop there, as some of these robots love archery and will just pop you from 100 yards, killing you instantly. I used to be a confident cowboy, and then I took an arrow to the knee from a robot. I had to retry this mission multiple times, buy ammunition several times, run for hours, and eventually just find an armored wagon with a Gatling gun and cheese my way to a victory via the closest thing Red Dead has to a Panzer tank. I would say this mission is honestly easy compared to the next one, but it's the very last Strange Tales of the West mission that made me question my sanity. Upon completion, we earn the reward of waiting 23 minutes to play Part 3. This is a smart gameplay design decision by Rockstar, as it gives the player time to reflect on why the f there are robots in a cowboy game. With some time to burn, I play the violin for a while, I deliver some moonshine to the docks, I take a cute group photo with some players as we hold our little lanterns, and I play an entire game of Age of Empires 2. It was a promising game on Black Forest. I started strong as we began winning the war. I use a civilization called the Goths, and in a nutshell, I'm basically Stalin from World War II. Kill-death ratio does not matter, big fella, it's all about an expendable high volume of soldiers. Unfortunately, my other two teammates had a domestic, collapsed, forfeited, and Green proceeded to send camels into my exposed economy, murdering my farmers and lumberjacks. It's lucky I actually wasn't Stalin in World War II, or my family would be living in Nazi-occupied Australia right now. It's time for Part 3. I ride into the swamp to capture the swamp monster. I can't wait to see what crazy swamp monster they've cooked up for us. If I was a betting man, I'd say it's an NPC with a machete or an invincible robot. As I enter the swamp, I build a false sense of security. I take down opponents with clinical efficiency as I make my way towards the mysterious swamp monster. I proceed to get eaten by an alligator because the swamp monster controls alligators with his mind. Why not? I die a lot. I guess when the swamp monster isn't mind controlling angry reptiles, he's got the lads out at the shooting range, turning them into swampy Chris Kyles. I die a lot as I realize at any given moment you can either be eaten or one-shot by an enemy. On top of this, my controller starts vibrating uncontrollably. I'm unsure if this was by design, but it does make me jealous, as this controller could make Anna happier than I ever will. I pop a Monster Energy drink so I can lock in. Not sure why I recorded this. I suppose after I captured that controller vibrating shot, I realized I was the best cinematographer in the world. I discover the best way to beat this mission is to climb up on something high and avoid the alligators. I can then focus on the guys with guns who shoot me with the same accuracy as when I take a piss at home. That's because when I take a piss at home, I sit down so I can play on my phone. Don't let your masculinity stop you from enjoying one of life's most peaceful moments. Sitting there for 30 minutes until your legs go numb, doom scrolling your way to better mental health. After countless deaths, I reach the elusive and powerful swamp monster. If you look closely, you can tell it's just a regular man. When I hear swamp monster, I think giant alligator or Shrek, but I guess a regular normal man is also pretty great. I think instead of calling him the swamp monster, they could have just called him Brad. I return Brad to this guy and prepare for the last battle. Excited, pumped up, and ready to game, I load into Strange Tales of the West Part 4 and am greeted with a 23-minute waiting period. The only thing stronger than the robot's thick armor is my will not to kill myself. I fish for a while to catch some snapper. I go around Saint Denis being a serial killer. Some guy drags me through the cobblestone streets, which is arguably more fun than this update, and finally I watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy director's cut while I wait out the timer. At long last, I'm ready for the final mission. I ride over to a campsite, but am ambushed by some bandits and tied up via a cutscene. My excitement to see how they're planning to punish me dies quickly as I realize they're just leaving me here tied up platonically. Great. Friend-zoned by uneducated hicks, that bruises the ego. I break free, choke out this guy and get a knife. For this mission, they've taken all of our weapons and we must use stealth to flourish. I make my way around, choking people out, but if you so much as breathe too loudly in the wrong direction, a tomahawk will lock onto you from across the map and you have to restart from the beginning. You might be wondering how big the search area is for this researcher. Well, it's as big as the continent of Africa. The dark forest becomes my prison for the next 4 hours. I search for the researcher, being so sneaky and careful, but there is always something to kill me. A few times I was trampled to death by my own horse. Even my underfed steed was farming me for kills. This was a humbling experience. I realize I can't treat this mission like a game, I have to act like this is real life stealth. Which I do, and it works eventually. After so many sneaky kills and failed runs, I find the researcher. I burn his corpse out of anger and return the letter to this guy for reasons I don't think one living person knows. I actually made a cool zombie video on my second channel, Papa Pelly, that also didn't have zombies in it. I trolled a UK server like I used to back in the day, it was so fun.
Meet in the middle and you take a hike. Shut your mouth, bro. Who are you speaking to? Shut up, you sausage. You're a grown man, by the way. Fridge protecting the snacks, bro. It's never that serious.
All the best, shaggers. Hit like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I love you.